What is up, team? Hey, hope you guys are doing well, and welcome in to another episode of Quarantine Catch-Up. I am joined by a very special guest all the way from the West Coast. We are bi-coastal today on Quarantine Catch-Up. Mr. Mike Filia, president of Auto Relocation Plus. Mike, how you doing, man?
Doing well, buddy. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was telling you earlier that really using this as an opportunity to get to know people better. And, you and I have had a chance to catch up a little bit, traveling on the regional circuit and all the different conferences and everything. And obviously, who the heck knows when we're going to have another conference or a regional meeting. So
no kidding.
This is the next best thing. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, you bet. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So the real reason why I'm asking you, of course, I want to know about your career progression and your career in relocation and mobility. But the real reason I've got you on here is because I really want to know how to raise a couple stud ball players. That's it. Okay. That's all for me. All right. Because I know. Right. So give everybody an idea. I know that, all three of your boys are all ball players. But give us an idea. Are they all still playing at the moment? I know they all play.
Yeah,
right?
They're all still playing.
Awesome.
I guess if I'm going to give you the real answer, I need to go get my wife because she's more responsible than me, right?
But, yeah, I think we could all say that. Yeah.
Like they all say, marry right. That's how you work it. But nonetheless, so all three boys are still playing. My oldest played at UCLA, and he's currently with the Seattle Mariners. He was drafted after his senior year. And then my middle son, Mikey, he's with the Kansas City Royals. He played at UC Irvine, right down the road here, and he just got drafted last year and had his first season. He was in rookie A-ball. The oldest one's currently in AAA with the Mariners.
Wow.
And then the youngest one is at UC San Diego. So we had, Los Angeles, Irvine, San Diego. So they're all close enough that we could get to all the games. So, and he's at UC San Diego. He's actually right now playing in the Northwoods League, which is in Wisconsin. He's in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Very cool.
And they open up tomorrow night. So they finally got things worked out where they can play. So we're pretty excited to have at least one of them actually on the field. They're all active and are under contract with the pro teams, but to get one of them back on the field is going to be exciting for us.
For sure. That's great, man. Yeah, that's awesome. I love and UC Irvine, I see the jersey there behind you. They probably have one of the best mascots in all of collegiate sports, the Anteaters, right?
The Eater, Peter the Eater.
Peter the Eater. Nice.
He actually won best mascot. They had like a 64-team NCAA March Madness bracket thing, and he won it.
That's awesome. That's something to be proud of, a proud alumni. That's for sure.
Totally.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Let's get right into the Fast Five. So I'm using this, not so hard-hitting questions to kind of give the audience an idea of who you are and kind of a peek into your personality. So are you ready for the Fast Five?
I'm ready, buddy. Go.
All right, bring it on. Okay, number one. So, Mike, you and we are friends on Facebook, so I get to see some of your travels and some of the stuff that you do. It's fun to follow you guys, you and your wife, especially going to ball games. But I know that you guys are kind of working your way through the diners, drive-ins, and dives list, right?
Triple D.
Yeah. Okay. So, one, how many have you guys been to?
So we have been to 184 of them throughout the country and Mexico.
That is impressive. Wow. How many are there total? Do you know?
I just heard an interview with Guy Fieri a couple of days ago, and he's had over 1,300 restaurants he's visited.
Holy cow. Okay, so you're like barely cracking the surface here.
Yeah. I mean, I thought I was visiting a lot, and which 184, make no mistake, that's a lot.
Yeah.
My plan was to hit 200 by the end of this year, and I doubt with the quarantine I'm going to be able to, obviously. But it's 184 of them, and it's kind of been, when I go someplace for business, I want to eat at the local joint. I want to support the local people, and that's really been fun. I love going in there and meeting the people that I've seen on the show. That's always exciting. And
Yeah.
I'd love to meet Guy Fieri one day. I tell you, I love what he does, not only for the small businesses and the restaurants, but also philanthropically. I think he's just a really good person. So.
Yeah. Seems like a genuine guy. So, okay. So number one, so we know that you guys are working your way through the list.
Right.
Can you give us a favorite? Have you had a favorite? That's probably tough. Out of 180.
I'll give you a favorite by each meal. How's that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
First for breakfast, probably the best breakfast I've had was at Buttermilk Kitchen outside of Atlanta. And it's in the Buckhead area.
Yeah.
And the lady makes these buttermilk biscuits, and she only makes so many per day, and once they're gone, they're gone. So and you have to get there early to eat it. I have to tell you, it was one of those breakfasts I didn't want to leave the table. And then for lunch, there's a place down here in Southern California called OB Noodle House. It's in Ocean Beach, hence OB. And they serve these Thai wings and a fried rice that is just incredible. Just really, really good.
Okay.
And love going down there. That's always a favorite, and it's always a long wait to get in, but it's worth it. And then for dinner, I would have to say it's a place called Sabroso, Mexican restaurant here in Garden Grove, California. And the reason I like it, the food is fantastic, but every menu item is one of grandma's recipes. And the entire restaurant is nothing but worked by, cousins and sons and daughters of the family. So it's really, really cool.
Very cool. Very cool. And that gives us a little sneak peek into what we'll be talking about later, a little family business action. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Great answer. Great answer. Okay. Number two. All right. This is going to say a lot about you here, Mike. All right. So you better have a good one. Okay. If there is a movie being made about your life, who is the actor that's going to play you?
I would say Mark Wahlberg.
All right. Okay. I like it. All right.
And the reason I say that is he's a fit guy. He's an exercise fanatic, and he always looks good. But I love the movies he's done because some of them are hard hitting and they're serious. They have a great message, but he's also funny too. And he just seems like the type of guy that you'd like to have a drink with sometime just to share some stories. My nephew actually was a concierge at a hotel in Vegas, and he was Mark Wahlberg's VIP concierge. And he said that Mark Wahlberg showed up with all his buddies just to have a weekend out there, and he said that he was just the nicest guy.
Oh, that's great.
And I thought, that was great.
Yeah. I love it when someone has a celebrity encounter and it's like, everything you'd hope it would be,
Totally.
What a good dude. Like that's cool to hear. Great answer. All right. Marky Mark. All right.
Marky Mark.
All right. So we'll go through a little bit of your relocation history, Mike, but I know you're a big Steelers fan.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you've never lived in the city of Pittsburgh, right?
Never lived there. My parents actually grew up there. I was born in North Carolina, not very far from you.
Yeah.
In Winston-Salem, and kind of moved around to Maryland, Connecticut, California, Florida, California. And then, but my parents are born and raised there. Mom's from Oakmont. She actually worked at Oakmont Country Club years ago. My dad's from Wilkinsburg, and he used to play in an orchestra. He used to play the accordion and used to travel around playing music. So one day my dad and my mom went to what back then was the Italians' way of arranging marriages. They would have these dances and everybody would bring their sons and daughters, and it was called Italian Sons and Daughters. Huh. And my dad met my mom at one of these events, and a month later asked her to marry him, and they've been married for 63 years.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So they're from Pittsburgh. We're big Steeler fans, huge. Love the Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, everything.
The whole thing. Yeah. So have you then, instilled that, passed that on to your boys? Are they big Steelers fans too?
I can assure you. In our house, it is Steelers Sunday. Everybody has, that's what we wear on Sunday. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Even my wife, that was one deal I made. I told her, I said, I'll give you the other sports if you want to try and convince the boys to root for your teams, but we will be a Steelers household.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. And they do, man, they travel well. They have fans all over the
country. They do.
Yeah. Long story short, but I had a couple internships with the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, wow.
When the Steelers came in, this was when I was in school. And when the Steelers came in, I swear there were more Steelers fans in the stadium than Panthers fans. And I was like, they're making us look bad. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it's how they are. It was like that when they played the Chargers out here. It had to be 90% Steelers fans. It was unbelievable. It was like a home game.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Okay, cool. All right. Number 4. Okay, this is a good one. Not sure if you follow or if you're friends with Mike on Facebook, you probably know this, but so 2 years ago, you guys were contestants on Family Feud. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Family
awesome.
Feud, Mr. Steve Harvey. And how in the world did that happen? How did you guys make that happen?
Well, it's funny. My brother saw an ad saying, "Hey, Steve Harvey, he's coming out to California, moving the show. If you want to try out for Family Feud, submit an application." So we submitted the application. We went to the Pasadena Convention Center where they had the first trial to see if you would make it to the interviews and whatnot. Because there's a long process, not going to lie. So we went to that, and the interesting thing, the interesting thing is you play the game in this big ballroom to see if you move on to the next level, and we did, and we went through the interview process, and they interview you each individually to see if the producers like you. I'm going to say flat out, I know we were selected because my brother Rick is that crazy uncle,
Okay.
And they always want that one person that's that wild card, exactly. And he delivered. Make no mistake, he delivered.
Awesome.
So we get selected to go, and we get called actually to the studio for a taping. However, when you show up, there's 10 families there, and they literally tell you only 7 of you will make it on the show.
Huh.
So you could have flown from Chicago or Florida to be there that day, and they're going to send you right back the next day because you didn't make it.
Right.
Fortunately, we got selected, and it was awesome. I'm going to tell you.
What a trip. Do you remember, any of the questions or anything that you had a good answer for?
Okay.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
that's okay. One of the questions was, the date was going well until he said he had a blank. Okay.
That could go a lot of different directions.
I want to be careful here.
Answer this. we like PG here, so.
Right, exactly. It was real. My brother gave an interesting answer that probably is a meme to this day.
Okay.
That Steve Harvey used, and he laughed hysterically. So that was one of them. It was fun. My answer was a criminal record, and I got a big red X. So,
oh, really? Dang.
I was a little bummed at that, but it was fun. We did not win, unfortunately, but I have to tell you, the whole, experience of playing the game and going up, and we actually had to play it 3 times before we actually played it live.
Wow.
And I know when you're sitting at home and you're playing the game, it's easy.
Sure.
You're watching it.
No pressure.
It's like, oh, no pressure. Yeah, give me that answer. Give me that answer. And it's like, how do these people not get the answer right? I'm here to tell you, Dave, it is the fastest game when you're on that stage.
Yeah.
Because you need to have 3 answers because there's 5 people there and you're not communicating.
Right.
And if somebody takes your answer, you have 3 seconds.
Right. And you want to have an answer. You don't want to be the person that doesn't answer.
Oh, my wife was that person.
No.
And I felt really bad for her, but she came up clutch at the end. She did.
Good to know. Good to know.
So
nice.
And Steve Harvey was great. I'm going to tell you, you're nervous when the lights go on and the music's playing, and then all of a sudden Steve Harvey walked out and he just kind of caught my eye, looked at me and pointed, and I was like, okay, I know this guy.
All right, cool. Yeah.
You know, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
It's
a
cool.
unique experience. That's for sure.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Number 5, last question of the Fast 5. In my opinion, Mike, this is the hardest one for you. Okay.
Okay.
I know I gave this to you before, and
Yep.
you've had some time to think about it. So
Yep.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but let me give you a scenario. Okay. All 3 of your boys, studs, stud ball players. It's bottom of the 9th, 2 outs.
Right.
You're down by 1. Men on 2nd and 3rd. So a base hit pretty much wins it. Which
Sure.
one of your boys do you want at home plate?
Okay. This is an age-old debate in our house.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. Okay. As to who is more clutch.
Okay.
Okay.
The clutch gene. Yeah.
The clutch gene. Personally, I'm going to tell you, all God's honest truth, I would feel comfortable with any one of my boys being in that situation.
Yeah.
I've always impressed upon them since they were just your guys' ages. Okay. Big time players make big time plays in big time game situations.
Yeah.
You know, and my wife and I have always instilled in them that, hey, look, you want that pressure on you. It's no different than you and I are out there doing our jobs. You know, our pressure is to bring home the contract or bring home the big deal. You know, in this case, this is their job, if you will, and they're there to produce. And we've always told them, put that pressure on yourself. You want to be in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it's worked out. I mean, look, you know, hey, Michael Jordan missed a lot of game-winning shots too, you know, but he made some big ones, you know, and I'm not comparing them to him, but I'm just saying everybody does, you know. With that answer being said, my oldest son played in the College World Series. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't think I did. With UCLA?
Yeah, with UCLA. The year they won it, 2013.
Wow. And
my son came up, I think it was the 8th inning. It was a 1-1 ball game, and we had a pinch runner on second base, Christoph Bono, whose dad, Steve Bono, played pro football. Okay. Christoph was on second base, and Eric was up with 2 outs, ground ball up the middle. Alex Bregman, current third baseman for the Astros, ranged to his left. It went off the heel of his glove into center field. The runner came around to score. We ended up beating LSU 2-1 to advance.
Wow.
And went on to win the College World Series.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah.
So I guess I've lived that a little bit. Not bottom of the 9th, but, you know, I've certainly, you know, had those before.
Oh, it's still pretty clutch for sure. That's a great answer. That's a great example too. Man, that's awesome. Mike, I appreciate you indulging me there for the fast.
Sure, you bet.
All good answers. That's great, man. And you know, we were talking off camera, I guess, before I hit the record button, a little bit about, you know, your story and kind of your career progression, and just kind of give everybody an idea. I kind of wanted to walk through a little bit, you know, of your career, because I always think it's interesting how people within our industry get into our industry.
Yeah.
What keeps them there.
Right.
Yours is a little bit of a unique story because Auto Relocation Plus is actually a family business.
Right. Very true. So my dad started the business 30 years ago in my brother's old bedroom. You know, wanted to just make enough money to pay the bills. He was in his mid-50s. He was out of a job. Came across this company that did what we do. They ended up going under, and my dad was actually at a BAPERM then meeting, now BAM. He was at that meeting, and that's when the business, he was told that they were closing up, and he thought, shoot, I could do this on my own. Let me start it. So he did, and it's worked out well. I mean, my entire family has worked there at one time or another. 5 of the 6 of us are still there, including my parents. Although 84 years old, they still come in non-quarantine. They still come in every day to the office. But yeah, my dad started it about 5 years after that. I've been with the company 25 years, and I always asked my dad. I was like, you know, I would pick his brain because I've always looked up to my dad and everything that he's done in business and in life. And I always asked him, okay, how's your business doing? How's it growing? What are you doing? And I knew at the time I was working for Hyatt Hotels. and I was in Chicago. The Hyatt Hotels actually transferred me from the Hyatt in Irvine here in California out to the Hyatt O'Hare, where I met my wife very first day on the job, which is a cool story I can share later. But nonetheless, I said, Dad, why don't you hire me? And he said, Mike, I can't pay you what you're making now. And I told him, I said, it's not about the money right now, Dad. I said, even though my wife and I had just got engaged, just bought a house, we're getting married in 6 months, and all
you got
these
a lot of stuff to pay for coming up, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. A lot going on.
Yeah.
She thought, why do you want to make this career jump right now when we have all this going on? I said, I just think that this is going to be the best move for our family in the long run. And ultimately, quite frankly, Dave, the best decision I made in my life as far as from a career standpoint is to go to work for my dad and build something together. Honestly, it's really what gets me up in the morning. It makes me excited is, my sales efforts are responsible for the income of my entire family.
Right.
So yeah, that's a little pressure, but I know that we're doing it together. So that's really the cool aspect of it. It's kind of our success story.
What was the catalyst for you? Because how far in were you into your career with Hyatt? I guess how long were you with them before you kind of dawned?
Yeah. So I was in the hotel industry for 6 years.
So that's not. Yeah, I was going to say that's not insignificant, right? I mean, 6 years out of school, you're kind of progressing. They relocated you to Chicago, right? Yeah. So what was there, a big moment for you where you were like, man, I just feel, like I need to go in the family business? Or
yeah, just every day talking with my dad. When I moved from California to Chicago, I was only there. I only worked for the Chicago O'Hare Hyatt for a little over a year. Okay. Prior to that, I worked for the one here in Irvine. Prior to that, I worked for the Red Lion Hotel out here in Southern California. And I started off pushing a laundry cart, quite frankly, Dave. I've done so many different jobs in the hotel business. And I actually had aspirations to be a GM. I really love the industry. My wife, 30 plus years with Hyatt Hotels. She's been with them forever, and they've treated her very well, very good company. But, just talking with my dad every day and just hearing about what he was going through. And I just knew that he needed an interjection of some young blood. And at the time I was in my mid-20s. So I thought, let me give this a shot. And, kind of like you do and I do now still to this day, I became a road warrior. I mean, I was traveling, 3-4 weeks a month and knocking on doors and building a business. And
so what was that transition like? Had you had any experience in outside sales
Zero.
At that point? Yeah.
Oh, outside sales. Yeah. I've had a lot of, everything's been sales. I was in convention sales for Hyatt Hotels. Okay. So that was my forte there. I went from a bellman to being a salesperson. I got recruited because I was good with the clients, they said.
Yeah.
So,
at least you had a little foundation, I guess, as far as, sales and what goes into that.
Oh, yeah.
What's kind of like some key differentiators between selling, for Hyatt versus selling for, Auto Relocation Plus?
Sure. Selling for Hyatt, you have something tangible to give them in a way in that they have the experience of coming to that hotel, attending a convention or a conference, having a good service experience, and going away with that. Selling for auto relocation, they're individual transactions. We move thousands of vehicles every year for individual transferees. 1 car here, 2 cars there. So I don't have a whole lot from an actual on-site experience for them. We just have the customer service aspect of being able to deliver that service experience for them.
Was it a challenge, coming from such a huge brand like Hyatt? I mean, everyone, and really around the world, I think, would know the name Hyatt.
Sure.
Was that a challenge, and then going to and trying to kind of, build a business?
Yeah, it was. It's interesting. When you call and you say you're from the Hyatt, Hyatt Hotels, let's talk to them.
There's almost like instant credibility, It's kind of like a good starting point.
Very true. Whereas calling and saying I'm with Auto Relocation Plus, my first several years on the job, I was like, well, who's your company? And I know of, ABC or XYZ corporation that does what you guys do. Why should I talk to you? So quite frankly, I mean, it was like, building it from the ground up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really a challenge. And I think too, there's some similarities, I think, between the household goods industry and relocating autos too, where,
Yeah,
essentially at the end of the day, we're, providing a service. We're not making a hard product. We're not, making, widgets or whatever it is. And so,
right.
it's a challenge sometimes, I think, to market and to sell, hey, here's our service organization.
Sure. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. So you started out in that sales role, I guess,
Yeah.
with Auto Relocation Plus. And I
Right.
mean, it's really, as you obviously in family business, I mean, as you gained more experience and had some success, did you always see yourself, kind of in the top role there? Is that something that you had aspired to do, or?
Yeah. 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 I don't want to say it. How do I want to say this appropriately? I like being in charge.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I like being a leader. I like, and not necessarily telling people what to do. I like encouraging people and helping people understand what our end goal is.
Yeah.
So that's always been something that's driven me in life and in business, quite frankly. And to me, it's I always saw a vision for the company. We're certainly not there yet, but I know we're building towards it. And I have a great team of people that, even through this whole pandemic, my team has been fantastic working through this. So,
Yeah.
I always saw myself in that role.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I think maybe it's a little more popular to say, like, I've asked people the same thing and they'll say, well, no, I never saw myself in this role, it just kind of happened. But, I identify more with you where, all the time I look at things, I'm like, well, if I were in this position, this is how I would
Sure.
probably handle this, or,
You
hopefully I'll
bet.
have an opportunity to handle this, a different way or the same way or whatever it is. So,
One of the biggest compliments I ever had when I was working for Hyatt Hotels, I was talking with someone and I was giving them a site tour of the hotel and I was saying, well, we do this and we do that and this is how we do things. And I was explaining the whole process. And at the end of it, the guy looked at me, he says, you sold this hotel to me like you were the owner.
mm,
And I kind of, that's always stuck with me. And I thought, yeah, well, I do have ownership of it because I have pride in what I'm selling.
yeah.
So I've just carried that throughout my career.
Yeah, and I think people can feel that, and that's really interesting because that's something that my direct boss, he's our executive vice president, that's something that he told me like from day one is like, treat everything as if you were an owner. And
Yeah.
And now that I'm more of in a leadership position with our company, it's super valuable where it's like,
Sure.
if you own this business, how would you want things to be handled? And so you
Yeah.
had mentioned that you pushed, laundry carts for Hyatt. When I first started out, right out of Clemson, I was 22 years old, this cocky kid that thought he was going to come in and sell, and
Right.
they said, well, okay, we want you to learn the business from the ground up. We're going to have you go pack household goods shipments and load trucks and, take things to the dump and everything.
Sure. Sure.
What the heck am I doing? And I'm so thankful for that I did that and learned
True
everything.
story.
Right. And took ownership of those things. So I think
Right. Right.
super great advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Mike, man, I really appreciate you joining me today and just, getting a kind of a sneak peek,
Oh, yeah, of course.
into your career and your personality. This has been great. So I hope that we can catch up again in person sometime soon.
Well, we definitely will, and I look forward to that. But before you go,
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit about your time at Clemson. Tell me about your athletic prowess there for the Tigers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for turning the tables here a little bit. So it's kind of a wild story. I'll try to give you, the shortened version. But so I was not highly recruited baseball out of high school. I had some opportunities to go D2 to some smaller schools, but
Right.
I just remember talking to a guy that was a couple years older than me. We were on the same. He played shortstop, I played second base, and then I slid over to short once he graduated. He was playing at a small D2 school here in North Carolina, and this always stuck with me. because I always put like college on a pedestal. I was like, man, I can't wait to get to
Sure.
college. So my
Sure.
parents, they loved it. They met in college. You know, they always talked about how great it was. And I asked him, I said, man, how's college? You know, how's it going? And again, very small school. He said, it's okay. At least I'm playing baseball. And I was
Sure.
like, oh gosh, that's like so.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I don't want to do that. You know, I want to have more of a college experience. So, and I'm really glad I went this route. So I went to Clemson with no, desire to play baseball. But I ended up trying out my sophomore year. I got cut, okay, and then I was like, well, I guess it's just not for me. And I had a pretty good tryout too. But and then the summer before my senior year, I was friends with a couple of guys on the team, and one guy, he was like, hey, do you want to come out? There's a spot open for the baseball camps. And so the head coach, he runs the baseball camps during the summer. And
All right.
and I said, man, that'd be great. Yeah, like, my major was sports marketing. Like I said earlier, I had
Perfect.
internships, with the Carolina Panthers. So I thought anything associated with the team, with the athletic department, would look good on a resume coming out of school. And so I said, yeah, that'd be great. And I think I made a really good impression on the coach, just because my whole attitude was just like, get in there and, be early, stay late, like be enthusiastic,
Mm-hmm.
And I approached him after the camp was over. I said, hey, coach, if you need any help with anything during the season, please let me know. I'd love to just be a part of it, any help you need. And with the idea of using that on a resume later.
Sure, of course.
And so I get a call a few weeks later, school's about to start. They need a bullpen catcher, an extra bullpen catcher. Mike, I've never caught a day in my life, okay? I never even played outfield, really. I just played middle infield, shortstop and second base. That's all I've played. And so I was like, well, I've never caught before, but okay, sure, let's give it a shot. Okay.
Yeah, I'm your guy. You bet.
At the very least, I was like, well, at least I'll get some free gear, whatever.
You bet. Exactly.
Yeah. So I get out there and I start to catch some bullpens, and it's not going great. It's not going terrible either. Kind of hold my own, and we're doing workouts and everything. And once fall ball starts, the head coach, he approaches me and he's like, hey, we actually do need some more depth in the infield. Do you want to start working out in the infield? I was like, yes, please. That would be great. I would love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So get through fall ball, do okay. And over the winter break, this is wild how all this stuff aligns, but over winter break, two guys, and these are all infielders too, two guys don't make grades, so they can't come back for the spring. Yeah. One guy tears his knee up, can't come back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so I'm like we got our, and we're like preseason number 2 in the country. We are number 1 at one point. Yeah. Like,
wow.
Really. Yeah. We have like preseason All-Americans. We were really good. And, and so we had our middle infield that was really good. And then the backup second baseman, he was a true freshman, so didn't have much experience. So, and then I'm like, I didn't even think I was going to get to travel with the team, up to this point.
Right.
Now, man, I might, get in a little bit. And the first game of the year, I know this is going on a little bit, but
I love it.
Yeah, the first game of the year, we're playing George Mason. Not very good. We're winning like 14-0 or something like that. It's 8th inning, I think. And I get in at bat. Okay.
Awesome.
First game of the year. I didn't even think I was going to get to travel. And I hit a double off of the left field wall. Yeah. It's like something like a Disney movie. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And
so
first college at bat ever, off the wall. Okay. And so we're pretty well. We're doing pretty well. We were number 1 at one point. We might have dropped a couple games. So we're still like top 5. And our starting shortstop, who's a stud, he has like this freak, and it wasn't anything that he did. Like, he didn't injure it, but he was uncomfortable in his neck, and they find out that he has like this, I'm not sure specifically what was wrong, but basically a season-ending surgery. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, so he's in a neck brace. And so they slide over the second baseman and the shortstop, and then now the true freshman is playing second, and I'm backup in second base.
Wow.
And so like maybe 20 games in, the true freshman's a little shaky, and I get a start. And then I end up starting like 14 games over the course of
No kidding.
Yeah. And I came off the bench a lot, defensive substitution.
Right.
I was in a fraternity for the first couple of years, and so they had the pledges line up in the outfield and paint their chest with my name. It was hilarious, man. It was just like, it was so
That's
surreal.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was really cool. Fox Sports, they did like a little bio like video on me as far as like me walking on and like getting
I
playing.
love that.
Yeah, it was I've got it here somewhere. I'll
I
have
was
to.
just going to ask you if you still have the clip. I need you to email that to
Yeah,
me. I want to see it.
I've got the DVD. Yeah, so I'll have
Okay.
to. Yeah, I'll definitely have to record. Make sure I save that for sure. But yeah, all in all, man, it was just like such a cool experience. You know, we ended up we we won regionals, and then we went to super regional at Mississippi State, Starkville, Mississippi. It is the
Oh yeah.
armpit of America. I cannot stand Starkville, mainly because we lost, and we had such a good team too. But yeah, we were just a game from going to the College World Series. But all in all, man,
Wow.
that's the full version. But yeah, it's really crazy how it all worked out. Like super cool experience.
That's an awesome story. You got to share that clip with me. I want to see it for sure.
Yeah, I will definitely. Well, hey, I did not plan to share my entire baseball experience with you today.
I love it.
Yeah, that was great. Awesome. Well, Mike, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you joining
You bet.
me today.
Thanks for having me, David. I appreciate the opportunity to catch up. And like you said, I hope we see each other sooner than later. I think it's going to be later, unfortunately, but
I think so.
Fingers crossed we all stay well.
Yep, I hope so. That's awesome. Well, thanks for Mike Filia. I'm David Bunnell. Thanks for catching up.
All right. Take care.